Hmm. Pops up first. Is that not showing up here? Oh, there we go. Okay. Da. Go live. Move this out of the way. There we go. I think that covers. Yeah, there we go. Flip. Okay, solid. All right. Now we are cooking. There we go. What's going on, y'all? Join the invite. I shouldn't share an invite. What's going on? What's going on? Let me move this over here, actually. Are those chats coming in? Live chat. Hello. You forgot Hood yesterday. We can look at Hood again, Sparch. We can look at Hood again. Yo, Nick, what's going on, man? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? March Madness is over here, man. We're closing in on one more day. Make sure we might do it. We might end the stream with some bracket look at, get some opinions on some bracket. Oh, thank you, Mario, for the fan club. That sub 50 ain't far away. I mean, it's close. Pitt, what up, brother? What's going on, man? How are you? Greetings from Germany. Ooh, Germany in here. I had someone on Instagram from Toronto today, which was pretty cool. I've never been to Toronto or Germany, but those are two places that I definitely want. More so Germany than Toronto because I want to do Oktoberfest, but I'll have to come out to Germany at some point. My wife and I did Italy and Greece last year, and it was a lot of fun. Nothing much, same shit, different day. I feel that. Same monotonous stuff every day, right? Try to make it as interesting as we possibly can. And we're finally getting some, I'll flip my screen here in a second. We're finally getting some price action that I thought we were going to get. And it always takes longer than we think. And people like to get bold during those periods of time. What up, healthcare? How are you? Yeah. We might end the stream today with some bracketology. I want to see what y'all are thinking for your brackets. I got mine filled out. I might fill out one more for like the ESPN tournament challenge to try to win some money. But I got one filled out so far. So we'll see. You were right again and again. We are heading 50K, I think. Yeah, I mean, so far, I'll flip my screen here in a sec. Let me do that real quick. I mean, so far, I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm just kind of going off of the structure that I see. It's nice to be right. Like, it gives you a nice confidence boost. But at the end of the day, I just go with what price action tells me to do. And if anything changes, we adapt. But we did get a really nice reaction at this. Or wait, I don't want to extend the lines on that. Let me get this into frame. So, I mean, we did get a really good reaction at this 75.5 level right here. You can see price, came up to the 0.5 and we got a nice drop on it. I mean, I figured today was going to be volatile just with PPI coming out and FOMC. I figured today would drive some volatility, and obviously we got, rejection down. Now what is going to be interesting to see is what happens now with price action, right? Like what do we do over the next couple days? Do we, is this an A wave with a B wave and then a C wave and then we have another A, B, C up and then the drop? Or is this the start of the drop and we get some acceleration downwards, then we get a 2 and then we get a 3? Only time will tell. Even if we look at the 4-hour chart, I wasn't really looking at it the other day, but I'm curious what it looks like now after we've kind of got this rejection here. You can even see on this price action moving up, the price isn't really impulsive, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you get an impulsive wave, like the structure of it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. you don't get overlapping waves. You don't get, you know, a wave 1 and the wave 4 comes back into it. It's not choppy. It's very just, you know, straight up almost. With this price action right here, we have very overlapping waves, right? Like this would be a 1, a 2, a 3, and then the 4 comes back into the territory of wave 1. So that can't be a 4 wave structure. But even if you look at it on the smaller time frame, right? You have like a 1, 2, 3 move, so that'd be an ABC. Then you have another ABC, and then another ABC, and then this next ABC up. I mean, technically that could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that's more of a C wave than anything. It looks like we have an A wave, a B wave, a C wave for an a B wave, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 C wave. So, like, you can see how price action is just really overlapping and choppy, and that's indicative of correction. Like, you don't have... If this was to be an impulsive wave, you would have something like this. You had a 1, a 2, a 3 up here, a 4, and then a 5. Like, there would have been no overlapping price and then here and then dump. Like, you just wouldn't have got that. You would have gotten something like this. So obviously price didn't do that. It just looks like one big correction, and then, you know, we're kind of getting maybe a 1, 2, 3 for a start of a wave 5. So maybe this is the 1, the 2, the 3, we get a pullback 4, and then a 5, and then we get an ABC, and then we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you just kind of let price action come to you. Let's see. Teams with animals for mascots for the win. I mean, like, March Madness is my favorite time of year. Like, I genuinely really love this time of year. Just so many upsets, just the underdog. It's such a cool time to watch college sports and all the traditions and everything that comes with March Madness. I do have some upsets in there. I will say I do have some upsets in there. What's your thoughts on Bitcoin bottoming in September, October this year between 26 to 37K? I mean, me personally, I don't see that low. I'll tell you why. So this is my opinion, and I'll tell you why I don't think we're going to go that low. I mean, we're at 70, so that'd be a really big decline. But based on the structure that we have right now, given the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the wave 5. So you're going to have the wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this final leg 5. And what I'm looking for next is the final drop, aka the leg 5 of leg 5. And for me, that price hasn't really changed between 60 to 50K. I mean, this is, you know, 49,974, but basically 50K. So my range has always been between the 1 and 1.618. That hasn't changed since, I don't know, whenever I started covering this wave 4, probably back in like the beginning of February. So for over a month, this has been my range and my target. Obviously, price has kind of, you know, chopped around more so to the upside than I anticipated. But that can happen. You know, you're not going to be able to predict things to 100% certainty. You just have to go off of price action, identify your invalidation levels, identify your structure, identify your strategy, and then wait, and then adapt to what price action gives you. And so far, we've gotten, you know, this choppy complex 4, but nonetheless, we still have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a final leg to come. That for me is between the 1 and 1.618. Now, for price to go down all the way to 27K, it would have to almost look something like this, which it could happen. I just don't put a high probability on it because we've already had a really strong impulsive move to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have this ABC correction, which has lasted since basically January, like December, January of 2025. Like December 2024, January 2025 is when the correction started. And we have this massive ABC move. That has already gone on for over a, I mean, how long is that date range wise? Like 470-ish days, right? It's been over a year. Let's just put it that way. It's been over a year that we've been in this ABC corrective zone. That's a long time. And for me, after the way that Elliott Wave Theory works, you get a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and then you get an ABC, and then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for me, that is the high probability trade. Once we get the last leg lower, we'll get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up to 200K at the 1.618. That for me is the high probability trade. However, you also have to factor in what if something else changes? What if this ABC correction turns into a complex correction, which can happen. We're seeing that We've seen that multiple times in the smaller time frame with this wave 4 that we're in right now. It is with both wave 4s, actually. With this sub wave 4 and this wave 4, right? We've had an A, B, C, and then an A, B, C, and then another A, B, C, A, and then a B, and then a C. So like this wave 4 was a complex correction. This is a complex correction. And I mean complex correction because there's multiple three-wave movements within inside of the correction. There's this 1, 2, 3, then this 1, 2, 3, then this 1, 2, 3, and then this 1, and then 1, 2, 3, and then we'll see what price action delivers. So this is complex. Now, that means that this scenario is potential, but not necessarily my high probability target, meaning we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have this ABC. Then we could have another ABC up and then an ABC down. That is possible. But to get to 27 down here in this range, for me, that's just not high probability. Like if we get an ABC up and then an ABC down, it could be in the range of like maybe 50 to 35 or maybe 50 to 45, like somewhere in that 50 to 45 range. I don't see us doing an ABC to the upside and then an ABC all the way down to 20. That's just me. I could be wrong, but we've been in a corrective structure for over a year, so I don't necessarily see us dumping that much lower because the structure doesn't align with that. What if this entire move down was an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and not a leg C? Meaning, oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. So it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and that's part of the overall expanding flat structure. So what do I mean by that is we have an ABC, and then we have another ABCA, ABCB, and then an ABCC. This, all that means is this is a complex B. So we have an A B wave, and then what you get after that, because the B wave expanded higher than the start of wave A, basically this region right here at 108, because we had an A wave down here and then a B wave above the starting point of wave B, that structure is called an expanding flat. And what you get in an expanding flat is you get a 3-wave down, a 3-wave up, and then you get a 5-wave movement down, which is what we're in right now. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're waiting for this 5th leg to complete. That's why, for me, yes, it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not an impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's part of a broader structure. I think, Matt, I found 2 small cap gems. If I'm pulling fibs right, should have a 57x and 96x. Looking at both on crypto chart, DGB and we'll look at those. Yeah, I can look at those, Matt. We can definitely take a gander. I'm not opposed to a nice 50x. We'll take a gander of that for sure. Joe, how's your day, sir? Hope all's well. Waiting for this drop, ready to start buying again. What's up, Joe? How are you? Doing good. A little congested today. I won't lie. A little bit congested today. Not necessarily feeling the best. We had some construction going on. Well, we're currently renting the house, but we had some construction going on because there was a leak that led from the master bedroom into the garage, and there was just so much dust with all the construction going on. So combined with the dust, the cold weather that we got in Georgia, and all the pollen, my nose is just absolutely stuffed up. But doing better today than I was yesterday. Hopefully tomorrow I do better. So I probably won't go as long on stream tonight, just because I'm not feeling the best. I'm just very tired, but should be good to go tomorrow. What's up, Kush? You were right about Bitcoin. So far, right? I mean, the move is producing what I thought it was going to be. Obviously, it's still a small move. It can morph into something different, so I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. But so far, it's moving pretty well. You know, this could be an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, and then we get another A, B, C up. That is possible. But as of now, we're just kind of waiting for price action. This could, you know, get some more liquidations down with a 2 and then another drop down and then another pullback. This could be what we get. This is the ideal scenario because the correction will end quicker than we want. Or it will end quicker instead of, you know, further chopping around. So my scenario ideal would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and just call it a day and we can get on with our lives. Let your haters know that we were going towards 52K bottom. Yeah, fuck y'all haters. No, I'm just playing. But yes, we are going to 60 to 50K. I'm documenting the process for all the haters. Fuck them, honestly. Well, I'm going to try to keep it PG. So, frick them. I'm trying to work on my cussing. That's something that I got a potty mouth, so I'm trying to work on that. Low IQ bears. Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I missed a lot of these comments. Let me scroll back up. Yeah, if it closes below 71,300, we can drop to 69,500. Okay, yep. I'm definitely seeing, is this plus 500? I'm not sure what that meant. Nick, I think a lot of people think we are in a bear market, which we're not. Yeah, I mean, we're not in a bear market. We're just in a correction. So I know that there's, for me, the news and just what people like to market. People market very well. I'll put it this way. When they're producing content and things like that, people market very well. They know how to play on your emotions. They know how to, play into your emotions and get you to, follow them because of some marketing scheme. Just if I can provide some advice based on what I've seen in the past is when people are very animated and constantly just being very emotional when it comes to their YouTube videos or their TikTok videos, they're just trying to get you in your emotions to feel some type of way. And that's why you see these videos go viral when you see, Bitcoin bear market confirmed, let's dive into it. They're just the classic YouTube video where people are screaming in your face and they're like, you need to be aware of this, you're going to lose all your money. Those are just classic marketing techniques to get you to follow them and monetize them, where I don't play into that bullshit. I'm just myself. I don't have anything to market. I don't try to play on your emotions. That, for me, that's just scummy. So the structure, yes, we have been in, a downtrend from the all-time high. We're down, 50% or something like that. But for me, this is just a small correction. We're not in an extended bear market where we're, I see some people online just clickbaiting. We're going to 10K, be prepared. Bitcoin's going to crater. You're going to lose all your money. Don't listen to those people. They're just pumping out bullshit. But for me, the whole structure is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an ABC, and then we'll get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. That for me is what's next. Take it how you will. If that is aligning with you, great. If it's not, hey, we can always disagree. That's the power and the best part about being human is, free will and able to have your own opinions about things. But structurally wise, we're just in a small correction. It's not an extended bear market. All right, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. ABCD's nuts. The Nutcracker. That's a funny name. On the way down to wave 5, is there another structure to follow? I mean, from what I can tell, I analyze this thing every single day. You guys see the Bitcoin videos every single morning. So I analyze this thing like the back of my damn palm. So I don't necessarily see anything else just based on this structure. If this was to get invalidated up here at 87,193, that's the number I'm looking for. If this wave 1 was to get invalidated, the wave 4 pumps into the territory of wave 1 and invalidates it, then yeah, sure, another structure could possibly be the case, but I just don't see it any other way. If you look at it on the weekly, obviously you can clearly see on the weekly this 5-wave movement. It with all this stuff, out of the way, it makes it more clear. Obviously I have the symbols on here, but you can look at the chart and say, okay, we have this 1 pump, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. You can see that clearly on the chart, right? So this 1 through 5 movement to me is pretty clear. Even if you didn't know the concept of Elliott Wave Theory, you could tell that this is a 5-wave movement up. And then when you look at these movements on the smaller, on the weekly time frame and kind of zoom in, you can see the movements on it. It's just, you're just not necessarily trained on Elliott Wave Theory, so you don't really know what you're looking for, but you can see it right here, right? The price moves down, then it moves up, then it moves down. Okay, that's a 3-wave movement, so that's a wave A. And then we have this complex B. You have a movement up, a movement down, a movement up, a movement down, and then up, down, up. That's just a complex multitude of an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So you have a 3-wave structure. So abiding by the rules of Elliott Wave Theory, you have an A wave, a B wave, and then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. And that's where we're currently in. So, it's possible that I'm reading it wrong, but I'm going to bet on myself and bet on the structure that I've identified. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But up until now, it's served me pretty well. Can we talk about FOMC? FOMC was kind of a nothing burger, if I'm being honest. Powell was just kind of going through the motions, and he was like, yeah, The war and oil may drive inflation, but it's too early to tell. And like that was it. Like there really wasn't much to it, which is why price didn't, react positive or negative. It kind of just, for me, this price was reacting on the PPI, but I don't really trade news or invest in news or wait for economic data. For me, it's already baked into the charts most of the time. So I was already identifying this wave 4 waiting for a drop, and we kind of continued to push higher. What I was seeing on this move up, if you look at it on the 4-hour, what I was seeing on this move up is just a bunch of choppy 3-wave movements. So you can kind of see it right here. You have the 1, 2, 3, and then you have this 1, 2, 3, and then you have the 1, 2, 3, and then another move down, and then a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then this kind of next move. So this whole price action to me was just corrective. Like it was just a bunch of 3-wave movements and very choppy, very overlapping price structure, no impulses. So I was kind of anticipating a drop to happen, and it does kind of look like we have a 1, 2 with a wave 3. We might get a pullback 4 and a 5 to start the initial wave 1. And then if this is the wave 1, we should get the 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just be patient, wait and see. We could have this, we could have that. I don't know. I'm just saying a bunch of things. People who live and die by a chart are hilarious. You never fail to amaze me, Jamie. I appreciate you commenting on my TikTok lives and commenting on my posts with all the hate, because it boosts my algorithm. So I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for the hate that you consistently share every day. But then when I ask you a question, you never answer. So I really don't know what to tell you. Do you think XRP has bottomed? We can go to XRP. Sorry about the loud keyboard. I have one of those loud keyboards. I bought a PC for the first time, and it came with this loud-ass keyboard. It's color changing, which is cool, but it can be loud when I type the numbers. But you can see it on here, too, with like XRP. Especially on the weekly chart, you can see, we had this really impulsive wave up, and then this ABC structure. I do think, and this is been my thesis now for a couple months, is when Bitcoin makes its final dip, right? Like if we go back to the Bitcoin chart, just so you can see what I'm looking at from like a price standpoint. So if we look at Bitcoin, right? My next move is between 50 to 60K. So if we take the top of this move here, what was that? Like 75, whatever that was. Let me see. And then we go down to, say, 55K, just split the difference. We won't go down to 60K. We won't go down to 50. We'll just cut it right in the middle, say Bitcoin bottoms at 55K. That's another 27, ish, 20, like between 25 to 30% drop on Bitcoin. What do you think altcoins are going to do, right? For me, I do think XRP probably has one leg lower. I think for majority of altcoins, because most of them follow Bitcoin, and it's the same thing every single time, right? Like when Bitcoin drops 20%, altcoins will drop, 10, 20, 30, possibly even 40%. So my strategy, especially on altcoins, because they're so volatile, it's very hard to time bottoms on altcoins because they can swing up 20% and then dip 40. What I like to do on altcoins is kind of just monitor Bitcoin. When Bitcoin makes, a big drop like this, altcoins correct like 20, 30%, grab a little bit, wait for it to make another dump, grab a little bit more, and just dollar cost average. I've been in XRP since 50 cents, so I'm already in the trade, so I'm not like necessarily worrying about what the price does short term, but I do think XRP, most altcoins will have one leg lower. Ethereum, Solana, like all these altcoins, based on their structures, they're suggesting more downside, but when Bitcoin corrects another 27%, altcoins are going to feel that as well. So I'm personally waiting on altcoins. My next portfolio allocation that I'm looking to add to my portfolio is VeChain and EOS on the crypto side, and then MSTR on the stock side. But when Bitcoin does this move, this final dump down to the 60 to 50K region, I'm just going to wait for Bitcoin to make its correction, and then whatever altcoins are at that time, they probably corrected another 20, 30%. I'll add to the position, and then I'll kind of scale in, and then, build up a nice position. And then after that, wait for the move up. But that's my plan, at least. Adri, hey, Nick, how are you today? I'm doing good, Adri. How are you? What platform? This is TradingView. So TradingView is free. I like it because it's very clean. But you could set up a TradingView account for free. You just sign in with your email or create an account. Oh man, you live in Georgia? What part? So we're currently looking to move, but we're on the border of like Chamblee, Atlanta, and Brookhaven area in Georgia. I've mainly lived in Brookhaven for the most part, but I'm originally from New Jersey and then ended up moving down to Georgia for. I went to Auburn, so then after school, I gradually the closest big city was Atlanta, so I ended up moving here for work. AVAX, yeah, we could do AVAX. Oh wait, all these. Every time I try to scroll down, sometimes the charts. Let's see. You can read these in any way you see fit. Yeah, I mean that again. It's when you look at charts, it's like any tool, right? If you give a basketball to a middle school kid, a high school kid, and an NBA player, it's the same basketball, but when you put the basketball in someone that's very experienced and knows how to do things, they're going to perform a hell of a lot better. So, yes, there are a million interpretations of Elliott Wave Theory, but if you give a novice Elliott Wave Theory, theirs is going to look very different than an expert in Elliott Wave Theory. So the strategy is the same, the tool is the same, but it comes down to the person using that you really see the benefit of it. That's why NBA players get paid and high school players do not. So when you look at these charts and stuff, any strategy is only going to be as useful as the person using it. We will see, brother. Yeah, I mean, hey, I am bold enough to stick on my principle. That's what I am. I've been talking about this I was talking about Bitcoin dropping back in December when everyone said I was wrong, and then we're dropping. So I don't try to be right or wrong, but I definitely stick to my guns. So if you push back, I'll definitely hold my ground for sure. XRP has bottoms you've never seen. I don't know what that means. After much deliberation, I concluded that we live in a matrix. Elliott Wave Theory is the red pill. Well, that's what the Elliott Wave Theory just identifies patterns. Like, that's the whole part of this strategy, is just identifying patterns. And you see it repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating over and over and over again. And the reason behind that is due to just human emotions and psychology. And that is what's factored into Elliott Wave Theory. Can we please do AVGO? I gotta do Hood first because Sparks was in here first and he wants to look at Hood. But yeah, we can do, was it AVGO and PLTR? Yeah, we can do that. Another really good one that I might add to my portfolio is Robinhood. I'm just waiting on another dip down on Robinhood to allocate it. But Robinhood's a really clean example of Elliott Wave Theory too. Is that Pig Becker? You can see these patterns repeat on so many things. Like for Robinhood, we have a really clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a 1, and then a 3, a 4, and then another 5. And then for me, this is one more dip lower to the 0.618 here at $64 is what I'm targeting for Robinhood. And $63 being my short-term target, and then 300 is my next like longer-term target. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ABC correction down, and then we'll get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up towards the 1.618. This being the wave 1, the wave 2, and then the wave 3. But 300 is my next target on Robinhood long term, and then 63 is my short term target. I'm still expecting one more dip lower for Robinhood to the 0.618, and then another pump up. It just, based on the structure, looks like we have Hood is consolidating for so long now. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you look at it at the daily time frame. If you look at it at the daily time frame, like for me, this looks like a ABC A wave, an ABC B wave, and then we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 structure. So it looks like a 3, 3, 5 movement, this being the A, the B, and then we're in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 C. For me, my next target's 63. The reason being is hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. The reason being is the larger time frame 0.618 pullback is at 63, 64, and then the fib extension of the wave 4 is at the 1.618, which is typically where wave 5 targets, which is sitting right at 63, 64. So that's why for me, my next target on Robinhood is 63, 64. We'll get one more dip lower, and then 300K is my next target. I don't know why I bought it at 125. I mean, 125 is not necessarily a bad entry long term, right? If you hold it long term. Short term, yeah, it might not be necessarily the greatest entry. You know, you're technically down almost 40% of your initial investment. But long term, I mean, Hood definitely has a viable place, and it's just in a short term correction. And then long term, you know, 300's next. So that would be, you know, again, that would be a 2x basically. No, more than that, almost a 3x from where your entry is. Well, like 2.5. So that for me is the biggest learning lesson when it comes to investing, is you have to have a strategy, because I've been investing and trading, like doing all these stuff, right? I've been on every YouTube. I've looked at every YouTube. I've looked at all the scammers YouTube shit that doesn't work. And there's all these YouTube guys and these, you know, course sellers that are getting a bunch of heat right now because they're not actually profitable traders or investors. They just sell courses, and nothing that they do actually manifests into money other than their live streaming and their courses. They're just really good marketers, and they know how to play on your emotions. And I bought into all that bullshit, you know, 8 years ago when I started this sort of investing journey. And even 3 years before that, I was a financial advisor. So I saw it from both sides, and I got into the day trading and a lot of emotional trading and buying at the wrong times and selling at the wrong times. And it's sort of a lot of learning through experience that has got me to the point of where I'm at now, where I have a really good emotional discipline. I don't let the market, you know, every time it pumps 10% or dumps 20%, you know, it doesn't affect my emotions or my decision making or my plan. But it takes a lot of work. You know, it takes being burned multiple times in order to be like, hey, wait, I need to actually take this seriously. I need to have a strategy. I can't just blindly invest in things when I don't know a plan. Like, you may listen to me and say, okay, you know, I like your plan. I like the way that you're thinking, but extrapolate from what I'm saying. Like, if you agree with what I'm saying, take that and then develop a plan of your own. Like, you don't necessarily have to follow me blindly and say, all right, I'm going to do everything Nick tells me to do, because that's not necessarily a plan either, because I am human. I also can be wrong. But if you take what I'm saying and I'm trying to help and provide enough knowledge, because I have been, you know, I've lost and burned through a lot of accounts in the past when trying to swing trade and day trade and all this stuff. And it's taught me a lot. But if I can provide one piece of advice, is try to manage your emotions, because you'll look at this and you'll say, okay, you know, Robinhood had this really big all-time high, and then when it dumps, everyone's saying on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, they're like, you got to buy now, you got to buy now. Robinhood's doing this, you got to buy now, you're going to miss it, you're going to miss it. You know, this big move is forming, you know, Robinhood to 500. Yeah. You see how they play on your emotions, and they're like getting you very either anxious, scared, fearful, greedy, and you got to have a plan. And if you have a plan and stick to a plan, it eliminates all that crap. And then you can identify zones of, okay, I'm going to buy here, and then have a decent long-term horizon, and then you'll do very well. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big pullback, but typically for a wave 2, the price likes to return to the 0.5 and the 0.618, which is kind of where we're at right now. You have this big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move with an ABC corrective. This being the wave 1, and then the wave 2 is going to pull back between the 0.5 and the 0.618. Sometimes it does pull back to the 0.382 for a shallow correction, so $97 would have been a solid target. But my strategy to not FOMO and to not greed in is anytime I identify a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move, I wait for a 0.382 pullback, you know, take a little nibble, wait for a 0.5, take a little nibble, wait for a 0.618, take a little bit nibble. That's a good strategy too. If you don't want to, you know, try to time bottoms or whatever, you can just buy at these zones and say, okay, I'm going to add to my position every time it hits one of these fib levels. I'll buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here. You know, if it goes down to the 0.786, buy a little bit here. And then your next target is the 1.618. And then, you know, you make a nice, you know, trade on it. But it comes with time. It comes with sometimes burning your accounts and losing money, and then eventually you learn a strategy. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I went on a tangent there, but that's, you know, dollar cost averaging is your best friend, because you can never time things to a perfect T on a bottom or a top. You got a dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. I bought the book today and it came in today. Let me know how you think of it, or when you start reading it, let me know your thoughts, because it's a great book. I mean, it's $10 on Amazon. It's one of the best things that you can do to invest in yourself and invest in your financial future. I really truly believe that once you read the book, you're going to see markets so much differently, and you're going to look at charts and be like, holy shit, like I see this, like it makes sense now. And it just gives you a little bit of an edge in the market. Obviously, you can never predict things to an absolute T, but you know, investing in Robinhood right now between the 80 and 63 level, targeting 300, I mean, that's a 2-3x, or no, 2 to 5x right there. Hold on. Fibs, yeah, I love Fibs too. Hold on, I'm scrolling back through this because the thing just like shot all the way down. I missed all these comments. Yeah, we could do Tau. There's no such thing as a pattern that's consistent. I mean, yeah, there's no pattern that's consistent, but you know, you got to have an edge in the market, and if you don't have any strategy, then you're going to lose every time. Are you literally scrolling back in time and telling us what happened? I don't know what you mean. My Forex software, and I don't know what you mean. Scrolling back in time, I don't know. I mean, everything's documented on my channel, so feel free to go back and watch my videos, and you can see everything that I've been talking about since December. Can you check NVIDIA? Yeah, I got a lot of comments on NVIDIA today. We can look at NVIDIA. Do you think the market is up or down tomorrow? I don't day trade, so I don't predict things that are, you know, tomorrow. From a SPY perspective, I mean, I was talking about this for a good bit. We were looking at it on stream yesterday. From a SPY perspective, I know I did a video of it today, but you got to know what SPY's doing to see what the overall market's doing. Like for SPY, we already have a 5-wave move. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move. There's limited upside to go for SPY. Like we're already seeing a reaction at the we're already seeing a reaction at the 1.618 fib level. We're already seeing a reaction right here. Let me move this out of the way so you can see the stuff. But we're already seeing a reaction here. I mean, yeah, if price can, you know, maybe make one more leg higher, sure. But at the end of the day, the risk to reward for SPY right now doesn't make sense because we've already had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leg move. After a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get an ABC. So my next target's on SPY, which I'm not looking to invest in SPY right now. Like it just doesn't make sense from a risk to reward standpoint. My next targets on SPY are between the 0.382 to the 0.618. So right between these levels is what I'm looking at for SPY, between 564 to 481. That's what's next for SPY, and I think that's going to catch a lot of people off guard too, because we've already had a 5-wave movement. What's next is an ABC somewhere between the 564 to 481. Only price action as it comes out will be able to determine that. If we get an A wave down here, a B wave, and then a C wave to the 0.5, that's a great dollar cost average entry here at 522. But for SPY, it's limited upside. Is fib like support and resistance? Kind of, sort of. It's more so like when you're using fibs, there's like rules in Elliott Wave Theory of where price typically likes to come to. So for the wave 2, meaning this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a larger wave 1, and then you get an ABC for a wave 2. Typically the wave 2 pulls back between the 0.5 and 0.618. That's where wave 2 pulls back. Now, if you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, oh wait, I'll just do this way. If you get a wave 1, a 2, a 3, wave 4 typically pulls back to the 0.382. So wave 4s typically pull back to the 0.236 to the 0.382, and then wave 2s pull back to the 0.5 to the 0.618. It doesn't necessarily have to happen that way every single time. As price action develops, you'll kind of see it more clearly. You could get a really big, you know, wave A, wave B, and then maybe a shallow C or maybe a deep C. It really just depends, but those are typically where price moves to depending on what wave you're in. What website? This is TradingView. How come you think the bottom is 50 to 60K and not lower? I'll show you. There is a possibility that it goes lower, sure. I mean, there's a few different things that we can talk about of why I think it's that. So on the smaller time frame, I'll show you why. So where we're at right now on this smaller time frame structure is we have a wave 1, a 2, a 3. We're in the complex form waiting for the 5. Now, the rules for wave 5 are they typically... I'll show you. Let me get this in here so you can see it. So if you take the Fibonacci tool right here, the fib, not the trend-based one, hold on, the fib retracement tool. You take it from the bottom of wave 3 to the top of wave 4. And where price likes to go to, based on the rules of Elliott Wave Theory, it can extend, but the typical zone that it goes to is the 1.618, which is sitting at basically 50K, 49,900. However, it also can go, let me put this on there. It also can go between, hold on, settings. Wait, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Let me click the, hold on. Settings, style, where's the 1.236? So, price on the wave 5 typically retraces between the 1 and the 1.618, which is between 60K and 50K. That for me is the high probable zone on where this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move is going to go. It can extend to the 2, which is at 43K, but the high probable target is between the 1 and the 1.618. The only way we're going to be able to determine that as price action comes out, once we get the wave 1 with the pullback 2, what you're going to be able to do is take the trend-based fib extension from the top of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 2 to the top of wave 3, and then wave 3 typically extends to the 1.618, which if this price were to happen would be at 54. Obviously that's hypothetical, but as price action develops, you'll be able to determine where are the next zones of what price wants to do. And for me, between the 1 and the 1.618 on here. Now, on the larger time frame, if you look at this entire wave 5 move, where does price like to go to on the wave 2? I just mentioned it a few minutes ago. Where does price like to go to on the wave 2? Well, it likes to go to the 0.5 to the 0.618 fib retracement of wave 1, meaning this is the 1 and then we're in the 2. Where is price right now? Between the 0.5 and the 0.618 is sitting at 60 to 50K. That's another confluence of why I think price is going to go to that zone. It could go down to the 0.786 at 35K, but typically and more often than not, it goes to the 0.5 to 0.618. So for me, that has two confluences right there. We have a larger time frame confluence between the 0.5 and the 0.618, and then we have a shorter time frame confluence on the fib extension of wave 5 to the 1.618, between the 1 and 1.618 at 60 to 50K. So that for me is why I think price is going to go there. Obviously, as price action develops, it may change, but that's what I'm going with. Can you give a small explanation on how this chart works and when to buy and sell? Yeah, so the way that it works is, I'll move this out of the way. The way that Elliott Wave Theory works is essentially you get this. You get, and it can happen on any time frame. It's not just one time frame. It's not, this only happens on monthly, this only happens on weekly, daily, like it happens on every single time frame. You can see it on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the daily, the weekly, monthly, it does not matter. The way that price moves according to the theory is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave movements. That's how price likes to move. This is called the impulsive or the motive phase. So you get a 5 wave movement, and then after a 5 wave movement, you get a 3 wave, basically what they call an ABC corrective movement. So you get a 5 wave movement up, 3 wave movement down. And the way that you analyze this, you just kind of wait for price action to come out. And there's rules around it where wave 4 can't retrace into the territory of wave 1. Wave 3 typically is the longest wave, but it cannot be the shortest wave. So if you have a really long wave 1 with a short 3 and then a long 5, it wouldn't validate the rules because wave 3 can't be the shortest. It is often the longest. And then you have different types of rules around it where wave 4, if this was wave 4, so if we had a 1, 2, 3, and then the 4 came back into the territory of wave 1, and then we had something like this would invalidate the rules because the wave 4 came into the territory of wave 1. So you can't have that. And there's certain rules, but essentially how the market works is you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then an ABC, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it just continues to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. So the way that it works right now on Bitcoin and why I have the levels that I have is we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an ABC, and then we should get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for me, the next target's 200K based on, again, the rules and the fib extensions and all that. So that's kind of how Elliott Wave Theory works in like a really simplistic like viewpoint is you see this on like really large time frames too. So if you go to the 3-month, you can see it on Bitcoin on the 3-month too. So with this structure right here, we have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, an ABC 4, and then a wave 5. And then what do you get after that? Well, you get an ABC pullback, and then we're in the next move up. So like you see this on every time frame. It happens on many multi-month year time frames. It doesn't matter. You can use it on any time frame, but that's structurally how it works. Is Elliott Wave Theory is like a trend line? No, so there's no like trend lines in it. I mean, there's certain things you can do with like the RSI for like further confluence and things like that. But I just just simplistically, you just get a 5-wave movement and then a 3-wave movement. That's just how it works, and that's part of the theory. There was a lot of data. I mean, this theory is dating back to like the 1920s or some shit. It's like it stood the test of time. It's like 100-year-old theory, and the market moves the same because humans haven't changed and we can't manage our emotions. And the psychology behind Elliott Wave Theory is you get wave 1s with a pullback 2, everyone doubts the wave 2, and then you get an explosive 3 because this is what happens. Let me zoom in a little bit more. The reason that wave 3s are typically the longest is because you get like this initial wave off of a low, and then you get a pullback 2, and what everyone thinks is going to happen is we're going to get the 1, and then we're going to pull back 2 and continue the bear market. So what did people think, back in, what was that, 2022, right? The world's ending, we have this massive pullback, we have this initial push off the low, people are thinking we're going lower, right? Like that's what everyone's mood was back in 2022 is, oh, this rally's fake. This is just a dead cat bounce. We're going down to, 7K, 5K, 2K, whatever they were talking about back then. So that's like the psychology behind wave 2 is there's a lot of fear, a lot of doubt. They say that wave 1's not going to last. It's going to go down lower. And then what happens is you get a pullback 2, and then you get this explosive wave 3. And the reason behind that is everyone gets fearful. Everyone gets greedy. They FOMO in because they feel like they're going to miss the move. And they're like, oh, wait, I was wrong. I need to get in. Like prices at new all-time highs, comparison to this level right here. Oh, I need to get in. I need to get in. And then they don't get in because they're like, wait, I need to wait. I need to wait. I need to wait. Price might retrace. And then what do? They FOMO in at the top. And then you get this rejection 4. And they're like, no, it's all right. It's just a small pullback. We're going to new all-time highs. Like, it's fine. I'm going to, wait. And then everyone that's very, very late to the game FOMO's in on wave 5, and then, they buy the top. You get these crazy market predictions at the top of wave 5. Bitcoin's going to 500K. It's going to 1 million. New super cycle. Like, Michael Saylor's buying. Institutions are buying. And that's typical of a wave 5. It's called the euphoric leg. And everyone gets super euphoric up here. And they're like, this thing's never going to end. And then what happens? You get a massive ABC correction. Everyone, typically retail, that waits to the very last minute to buy because they need to wait for confluences, buys up here, and then they lose 50% of their value. Then they get fearful, and then they sell down here because they're like, I was wrong. I should have bought down here. Okay, what I'm going to do now is wait for this correction, and then this correction is going to go all the way down here, and then I'm going to buy here, and then I'm going to sell high. And then what happens? Everyone does. It's just the tale is all this time. Everyone thinks they can get a better entry, so what do? They wait for this thing to decline, and then what do you get again? Well, you get a wave 1. Everyone says, no, dead cat bounce. It's not going to happen. We're going to retrace. Bitcoin's going to 30K. Then what do we get? We get a wave 1, a wave 2. Then what do we get? The FOMO leg, wave 3. The late runner, wave 4. Everyone thinks that super cycle is going to come. Bitcoin to 1 million. Institutions are in. This thing's going to be a super cycle. We're going till, the moon, whatever. You get this leg 5. So for everyone that was down here that didn't buy, they buy up here, and then what do you get? An ABC down. Everyone gets wiped out, and retail cries and their baby about it and said, next time. It's the same shit every cycle. It's just everyone gets wrecked. So don't be that person, guys and gals. Don't be that person. Buy when everyone is fearful, sell when everyone is greedy, and you'll do 100% totally fine. Everyone likes to play on your emotions. Everyone likes to be a good marketer. They like to sell you a dream. They like to sell you get rich quick. You know what they don't tell you? Discipline, hardship, growth. They don't talk about that shit. They talk about you getting rich quick. Getting rich quick will go very fast. If you get rich quick, it typically fades. If you get rich slowly over time, You learn the mindset, you learn the skills, you learn the growth to be able to handle this new acquired wealth. For me, that took a while. I'm here now, so I try to educate others on it. But this is a great buying zone. Like, again, in my opinion, based on the structure, this is a great buying zone. And then my next target's 200K, and everyone's going to doubt it. They're going to do the same shit they did back here. You know, Bitcoin dead cat bounce at 30K, and next thing you know, we're pumping. And then up here, what's going to happen is everyone's going to come out with news articles up here saying, Bitcoin super cycle, this thing's pumping to 500K. Institutions are in now. Look at how many countries are buying Bitcoin. They're holding. They're never going to sell. Like, banks are in on it. It's getting, you know, more adoption. The regulatory stuff is passing. We're not going to correct. And then what do you get? A big ABC dump. And then everyone loses their shit again. And they're like, oh my God, Bitcoin dumped it. You know, they were wrong. I should have listened to my favorite guru on whatever, talking about Bitcoin bear market. It's going to zero. And then what happens? You get the same thing. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up again. And everyone FOMOs the top and they lose their money. So if I can provide one piece of advice from the stream is don't be like the rest of retail. Oh wait, all these comments skipped so much. My apologies. I went on a rant. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll back up here. Solana. Yeah, we can do Solana. What time frame is this? These are right now it's on monthly time frame. Monthly time frame on Bitcoin, but we can look at Solana. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Solanas. All right, let's go to Solana. Facts, yeah. Oh, we were going to do PLTR too. Let's do Solana then PLTR because I already have Solana charted out. So again, with Bitcoin going down another 20% from 75K to 55, you know, somewhere in that 60 to 50K region, I do think altcoins are also going to feel that burden too, right? Because they're going to, they're also going to, you know, decline with Bitcoin. That's just the nature of crypto. But Solana has a really good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement with this, you know, big correction here. And then we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement on this wave. So we have this wave 1, wave 2, and then for me, my next target on Solana is like 522 at the 1.6 minute. Let me zoom in on it a little bit more so you can see it a little bit clearer. But my next target on Solana after this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with this ABC correction is 522. I do think there's more downside towards like the 67 to $50 region on Solana, somewhere between 70 to 50. Should be a bottoming zone for Solana, and then 522 is next. Holy Elliott waves. Yeah, I mean, Solana for me looks really good. We had a really good outperformance wave 1. I personally bought down here after this wave 1. We had the 1 and then the 2 consolidation. I bought somewhere around, I think it was $12 or $15 somewhere in here. I bought somewhere in this zone, and then I took profits up here. So I'm already out of my Solana bet. I made like a 10x on it, and I was fine with that. So with Solana, I've already made my gains, and then the next wave up is 522. What if I told you Sol could reach $20 to $30? I mean, you can tell me that, but structurally wise, it doesn't suggest that. But I'm happy to entertain it. I just think structurally wise, $20 to $30 is off the table. That'd be a massive correction. And on the smaller time frame on this ABC, it's almost done. The correction's almost done with Solana. So we've already had this A wave, this B wave, and then we're in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movement down. And I have one more leg lower to the 60 to $50 region, and then 522. Hey, get out of there. Sorry, my dog is... What are you doing? What are you doing? This is not fucking candy. Stop that. My dog is crazy. She's getting into some clothes. Stop that. Hey, come on. Stop it. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, 522 is next. What do we got here? $300 billion market cap for a 520. Is that what the market cap would be at that? I mean, that's what the chart's suggesting, Matt. 522 next. That would be a massive market cap, but I do think there's going to be massive appreciation in crypto over the next, 1, 2, call it 3 years. So you aren't considering bear market for next 9 months? I mean, not necessarily, because the structurally wise, we've been in a corrective wave 2 on Bitcoin for over a year, which is a long time. I mean, we definitely could have further correction, but that would be over a 2-year span of a bear, like 2-year span of correction, which I'm not writing it off the table. Like, if we get something like this where we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have an ABC, and then an ABC up, and then an ABC down. I mean, sure, we could get something like that where we have a further correction on, altcoins and Bitcoin. Sure, it's possible. I just don't list that as my high probable next thing, because we've already been in a corrective mode for over a year, specifically on Bitcoin, and Solana's been in a corrective mode since January of 2025. So, this whole correction has lasted over a year, which for me, I don't see it happening anymore, because we've already had an ABC. So for me, the next logical standpoint is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. Is that Samoyed? Oh, my dog? No, she's a golden doodle. Sui? Yeah, we could do Sui. Wait, no, we were gonna do PLTR after this. Target on SPY. Well, we just did SPY. So SPY to me is topped, or it has limited upside, I should say. So on SPY, we've already had a 5-wave move on SPY. We've had the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for me, SPY's already topped, and I'll give you I'll show you why. So with the wave 5, it always extends to the 1.618. Let me move this down a little bit more to the bottom. It always extends to the 1.618, if I can get this thing to go here, which is where price is rejecting at right now on the wave 5, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're already seeing price kind of reject here. Now, we could continue to maybe pump up a little bit, but upside is very limited on SPY. Like, there's very limited upside on this thing, because we're already at a 5-wave move. It's not like we're going to have another, massive 5-wave move after this. The next logical thing based on the structure is a correction. And my correction for SPY is anywhere between the 0.382 to the 0.618. So for me, SPY should correct between 565 to 482. That for me is the next logical thing. We'll get an A wave, B wave, C wave, somewhere towards the 565 to 482 number. That for me is what's next on SPY. Coinbase actually looks pretty decent too. Like, Coinbase has already completed a 5-wave move, and it's in its ABC. My next target on Coinbase is actually $800. So Coinbase is looking pretty good too. Now, I think PLTR, I think we looked at this on stream before. I want to say we did. That's why that's there. So for me on PLTR, we've already completed like a 5-wave move too. So we've had the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3 up here, the wave 4, and the wave 5. You can see it right here, this wave 3, wave 4, but I'm pretty sure if I go down to the weekly, you'll probably be able to see it a little bit cleaner. But on PLTR, we've had a massive wave 1, this correction 2, the wave 3, the wave 4, and the wave 5. So for me, PLTR, again, upside is limited on PLTR as well. I'd be shocked if this didn't extend past the 1.618. So on PLTR, we've already, for this wave 5 right here, this wave, oh, shit, I moved it. Hold on. So this being the wave 4, and then the extension for the wave 5. So on PLTR for this wave 5 up here, we've already extended, and you can see price rejected at the 2, came back down, tried to pump above, rejected, tried to pump above, rejected. So we're kind of seeing, again, the wave 5 typically targets the 2, between the 2 and the 1.618, which is where PLTR is. And we've already had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. The next logical target for PLTR based on this structure would be between the 0.5 and the 0.618. Obviously, we can see we're kind of having a bounce off the 0.382 right now, which would be a shallow correction. But for me, this could be a potential ABC with the start of a new uptrend. But for me, I always wait for the 0.5 to the 0.618. That's what I wait for, because I want a deeper discount on a stock. If it doesn't come down to that, I'll just go on to something else. But like, with this initial drop, if you wanted a dollar cost average at the 0.382, take a position here. well, obviously we missed it because it, you know, pumped off of it. But a strategy that I like to use and that you can use for assets is after you identify a 5-way move, wait for a pullback to the 0.382, the 0.5, and the 0.618. Those are your 3 buying zones. So you wait for it to pull back to 0.382, you buy a little bit. Wait for the 0.5, buy a little bit. Wait for the 0.618, buy a little bit. Then on PLTR, the next structure on this, given depending on where we pull back, is say the 0.382 is where we pull back to. Like say for example, this is the bottom and we're starting the new uptrend. The next target on PLTR is 457. But if we decide to decline to the 0.5, the next target's 433, and then if it was a 0.618, the next target's like 400. So like between 400 to 400 to 450, that's the next zone at the 1.618 on PLTR. Based on this structure, again, take it in zones. Buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here, and then wait for the next move up. That's how you can do it in dollar cost average at deep discount zones. You buy a little bit here, you buy a little bit here, buy a little bit here. And then what'll happen is, say for example, because then, you know, with the FOMO and the greed and stuff, you don't want to miss the trade. You want to be in, but you don't want to miss it. Say for example, you buy at the 0.32, you buy at the 0.5, but price doesn't come down to the 0.618, just for hypothetical, right? Say PLTR did this, right? Say PLTR has an ABC, another A wave, B wave, C wave, another A, B, C, and it comes down to the 0.5, but it doesn't come down to the 0.618. If you bought here and bought here, you're in the trade. So then if it reverses on you, you're in it, so you don't have to FOMO and feel like you're missing out. But if you're purely waiting for the 0.618 and the price only comes down to the 0.5, you never make the trade, and then price reverses, then you're out of the trade, then you're FOMO, and then what'll happen is you'll wait for this thing and then you'll buy at all-time highs because you're missing it, you're fearful, and then, you know, it's not a great entry. So my strategy typically is geared around buying at these key zones and then holding for the next target. That way you're in the trade. If it bounces off the 0.382 and just completely reverses, you're in and you don't have to FOMO. If it comes down to the 0.5, you just lowered your cost average. And then if it bounces here, you're in the trade, you don't FOMO. And then if it comes down to the 0.618, you even lower your cost average more and accumulate more shares at a discount. And then it pumps. You know, that's a good strategy to use, so you don't have to worry about timing the bottom perfectly. Let me see. Or you can hedge by shorting long-term options. Yeah, you could do that too. Like if you wanted to buy at the 0.382 and you wanted to pick up some options to hedge your trade, you can do that too. But I think that would be a little bit more, is that Freakmaster 67? I think that would be a little bit more advanced, but definitely a strategy for sure. I just wouldn't want to confuse people with that, but you can definitely do that for sure. You got a cold, or that's some good. My nose is stuffy due to pollen, so yes, I am a little bit stuffed up. You could say that. I am a little bit stuffy. No cuts until June as of now. I wouldn't be too optimistic. I'm just going based on the structure again, news and interest rates and all that stuff. I mean, while it does play into the charts, for me, I go based on structure. I don't go based on all the other stuff. Gold. Yeah, we were looking at gold yesterday. It does look topped, and I'll show you why. I personally wouldn't buy gold right now. Structurally wise, it doesn't make sense. And I'll show you a multitude of different things. So on the 3-month on gold, this is what the structure looks like on gold. We have this massive wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, before you lose your shit and say, well, Nick, the wave 1 is way bigger than the wave 3. What are you talking about? This is a log chart, which distorts things. So on a log chart, the size difference may appear smaller, but since it's on a log chart, it just looks like it appears longer because you want to get all the price in. But if you use the trend-based fib extension here and take it to the top of wave 1 from the bottom of wave 1, if I can freaking get it, to the bottom of wave 2, you can see that the wave 3, this is a great example of Elliott Wave Theory. I'll show you why. So from the bottom of wave 1 down here, the top of the wave 1 to the bottom of wave 2, where does price, what do I say all the time? Where does price typically go for the wave 3? It goes to the 1.618 or the 2. And where do we get? We got a wave 3 to the between the 1.618 and the wave 2. We actually had a clean rejection perfectly right off the wave, perfectly off the 2. If I zoom into this, like, it's damn near rejected right at the 2. I mean, it's like right there, right? We came to the 1.618, got rejected, and then dumped down. So that's where price typically likes to go through in the wave 3, and that's just one example of how Elliott Wave Theory uses these fibs to trace out next targets. Again, it's not 100% accurate, but using it as a guide and a strategy, it'll allow you to make money because you have a 1, a 2, and then you get in here around 262 and ride it to 1600. That's a nice 5x. But we have this 1, 2, 3, this 4, and then wave 5. We're currently in the 5. If we go to the monthly chart, let me move this out of the way. If you look at this on the monthly chart of this wave 5, we already have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. So we're already in like a 5th leg. And then if you go down to the weekly on this wave 5 right here, if you go down to it on the weekly of this wave 5, we've already had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've already had a 5-leg move of a 5-leg move, of a 5-leg move, of a 5-leg move. So for me, the next zone that I would pay attention to for gold is, give me a second, from the bottom of wave 4. No, I don't want to co-host. From the bottom of wave 4 to the top of the wave 5, the next zone for me on gold is between 3,800 at the 0.382 to 2,793 at the 0.618. So for me, gold's already topped. We're having multiple wave 5s with inside of wave 5s. The next target on gold is between the 0.382 to the 0.5. We'll get an ABC correction down somewhere in that zone. Again, using this strategy, if you were a gold guy, I'm not. I'd rather buy something else because I just don't really feel like investing in gold. I mean, do I have gold articles? Like I have my gold, my gold wedding ring and a gold chain, sure. So, as gold appreciates, those assets appreciate. But as far as investing in gold, I mean, it's a good hedge and things like that. But I just want to park my money elsewhere because we're already in a topping point wave 5. We'll get an ABC down, something like this, towards the 38 to 2,700 region. I wouldn't want to park my money in gold right now because that's from all-time highs at 5,600. That's a massive decline. So for me, a lot of people are going to sell gold and then rotate into crypto because it's undervalued. SPY should have been topped years ago. SPY only goes up. I mean, yeah, it goes up on a long term, but it still abides by structure. So obviously SPY, I mean, you can see it on every time frame. If you look at SPY, yes, it goes up. Most assets go up, in the long run, yeah, but they still abide by structure. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements, then you get a correction. Everything's always due for a correction. It doesn't go up in a straight line. Gold is top, yeah. Gary said, yeah, you guys should listen to this if you want to lose money. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. Sounds like you're an expert. So we would love to hear. What do you think? Nobody asks you, Gary. You must be fun at parties. With that cinnamon toast pump just out here roasting Gary. That's funny. I don't want to roast anyone, guys. Like, that's not what I'm about. I don't really care what the people come in here and say. For me, when most people hate on my content or hate on that, it's just their own insecurities projecting on me. So I don't really care about them. And what are the rainbows saying? Like the numbers, how did you get them? Oh, you mean like these fib numbers? Oh, so the way that you get that is it's just a tool. It's called the fib retracement. So when you click it, you extend it and move it to certain zones, and that is what kind of color, and they give you like color codes for it. Netflix. Actually, I think I charted Netflix the other day. Nope. You must be fun at parties. That's a good one, Cinnamon Toast. That's a good one. Yeah, so for me, Netflix is on my radar for a short-term swing trade, but on Netflix, for me, this is a 1, 2, a 3, 4, 5 wave move. When you go on the smaller time frames, you can see like the inner movements, but for me, this is a wave 1, a wave 2, and we've kind of pulled back on this wave 2. You can see here we pulled back to almost the 0.5 fib. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. See how on this wave 2 we pulled back to the 0.5 fib, so we had this massive wave 1 with the wave 2 pulled back to the 0.5 fib, and we had a nice bounce off of it. And on the smaller time frames on it, it does look like we have a developing 5 wave move. It just, I'm waiting for price to kind of show me its hand. So right now we obviously have this big gap up. So what I'm waiting for, even if you look at it on the 4 hour, it definitely looks like we have this massive move up, and then you can see it on the smaller time frame, right? You see this A wave, B wave, and then what seems to be developing of a C wave. The gap is kind of a throw off in the structure, like, because you can't really count 5 wave moves up on the smaller time frame. But what I'm waiting for on Netflix is if we get a pullback between basically $87 to $84, somewhere around 87 to 84, is when I'd be looking to take a position. Probably some call options on Netflix somewhere in this region, and take it for the next move up. But right now it looks like it's just in its corrective zone. It's already pulled back to the 0.236, which for me that's just not enough. I would wait for the 0.382 at 90. Again, strategy, right? Buying at the 0.382, buying at the 0.5, buying at the 0.618. For me, with my call option strategy for wave 2s, this would be the wave 1 and the wave 2. If price hits, I have an alert on it at $87. If we get between 87 to 84, I'll look to take a long position. So I'm just waiting for kind of that to happen. Even if you go down to the 1 hour, like, you can kind of see some structure on it. But for me, the bottom is in for Netflix, and now we're starting the next impulse up. But I mean, there's kind of a mini structure on here. Like, you kind of have a wave 1, a wave 2, wave 3, a wave 4, and then this wave 5, and then sort of this A, B, C, and then this A, B, C kind of developing. But if we don't see $87 to $84, like, I just won't enter Netflix. I have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other stocks on my watch list that structurally wise look pretty good, that I'll be looking to open some swing trade call options on, but I'm just waiting for the prices to fulfill what I want them to fulfill. Let's see, name of indicator. These are all hand drawn stuff, so like I don't use any indicators. I just draw everything by hand. But as Cinnamon Toast described it, the rainbow indicator, this is the fib retracement. So we've already hit on Netflix the 0.5. I mean, we could definitely get, an A wave, a B wave, and then maybe a further C wave to the 0.618. But from what price is suggesting right now, it definitely looks like we have pretty much hit a bottom, because we got a nice reaction. I mean, literally perfect at the 0.5 fib retracement, like right on that number. And we had an A wave, a B wave, and the C wave. So that would fulfill a correction. Now, again, the strategy is, buy at the 0.5, buy at the 0.618. So if you bought at Netflix, or bought Netflix in at $75 at the 0.5, that's a great entry and you're already positive. But the next target for Netflix using this structure is, hold on, if I can get it right there, and then right there, and then down to the bottom. The next target for me on Netflix is 263. So this being the wave 1, the wave 2, and then the wave 3 targets the 1.618. So 263 is my next target on Netflix. Obviously, it's going to take time. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. But this is the 1, the 2, and then the 3 should target the 1.618. Netflix going to new lows. I mean, it's possible. Again, that's why having a strategy is important. But we do have an ABC pullback to the 0.5, so that would fulfill the rules. George, I'm going with puts. Yeah, I mean, hey, more power to you. That's the beauty of everyone's strategy. If you have a strategy, and it works for you and you make money on it, do it. Any book you can the book that I like. So for all those of you on YouTube, I'll show you first, because the camera's right here. Elliott Waves Made Simple. by Steve Sinclair. That's the book. For those of you on TikTok, this is the book I always recommend. Elliott Waves Made Simple, Master Elliott Waves Techniques in Less Than 48 Hours by Steve Sinclair. It's $10 on Amazon, guys. And it's how many pages in total? I think there's like 100 pages. These are just the indexes in the back. Yeah, conclusion. 104 pages, guys. 104 pages. Elliott Waves Made Simple by Steve Sinclair. You're not going to master this overnight, so don't try to master it overnight. It's going to take time, but it's $10 on Amazon. I think it's worth the investment. Tree Warrior said, I need this stock at 88 to 90 by next Friday. I'm assuming you have a call option or... No, wait. I'm assuming you have a put option with an expiration date by next Friday, I'm assuming. What made the market dip today? I mean... For me, technicals always lead. And I was saying this for SPY a long time ago. Like, we've been covering SPY now for a bit. And when you look at SPY, it is already topped. We have this wave 3, wave 4, and we're sitting at the 1.618. Again, we viewed, what was it, gold? Or no, not gold. I forget what asset we viewed, but it was, topped between the 1.618 and 2, which is exactly where wave 5 goes to top. So for me, technicals have already been saying top and upside's limited. Maybe we pump up to the 2, possible, but the next logical thing for SPY is an ABC corrective move down. So for me, technicals always lead, and then the news and shit comes out, but technically speaking, it was just the PPI data that came out way higher than expected, so people are reacting to it. Bitcoin still following the plan for a lower low. Yeah, no changes to the Bitcoin plan. That hasn't changed in a couple months now. What's your entry on Netflix? I don't currently own any Netflix. My plan for Netflix, again, was to wait between the 8... I have it on my watch list. My goal for Netflix is to wait for one more pullback and then enter a call option for a long. So... my goal is to wait for the 0.5 fib retracement at $87 to $84. That's when I'll enter my call option long and then wait for the next move up. What I'll be targeting on that smaller subwave is... hold on. To the top. And then if we get 87 at the 0.5, my next target would be 128. So basically we'd have the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3, and then we get a wave 4, wave 5. But that is... that's kind of what I'd be targeting on the swing is, but if we continue to pump, right, if we have this 1 and then this is a 2 and we get a 3, 4, 5, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I'll just wait for the ABC correction down to my zone. If we get it, great. If not, I'll just wait and then wait for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we get the ABC, I'll enter the long there and then ride it up. So I'm just being patient, letting price come to me. There's so many other assets out there that I'm looking to pick up as opposed to trying to time Netflix. For me, MSTR looks really good. I'm waiting for MSTR. We got a nice rejection here. I was watching this level at 156. We did not invalidate it. So my next target on MSTR is between $100 and $74. So this 1 to the 1.618. I'm waiting for price to basically have its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down somewhere in this range. And once we get this move, that's when I'll be entering MSTR. I haven't bought any yet. I'm just waiting for kind of the price to show me its hand. But once we get MSTR in these ranges, I'll be targeting, I'll show you my big target on MSTR. My next target on MSTR based on this structure is 960. So this being the wave 1, the ABC2, and then the wave 3 should target the 1.618 at 961. So my next target on MSTR will be 961. ACOM, yeah, we can look at ACOM. Coinbase looks really good too. I mean, MSTR is entering its ABC pullback. Coinbase is doing the same. So this is also another one on my watch list right now. But Coinbase had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, and then an ABC 4, and then a wave 5, and then we're in the ABC. So for me, Coinbase is also in its ABC movement. For me, the bottom does look to be in for Coinbase, given that we've had this ABC structure. And we've already pulled back this entire move all the way to, again, we're seeing a reaction here at the 0.618. But we've pulled back to the 0.618, and my next target on Coinbase is 800. But we have a 5-wave move followed by an ABC, and then 1.618 is next. Kush, PLTR. We just did PLTR maybe like 20 minutes ago. PLTR to me has already completed a 5-wave move, and I'm just waiting for a correction on PLTR. And then I think the next target after that was like 253 or something. I can't remember. I have to go back to the chart. Hood looks really good right now. I know Harsh really Sparsh really likes Hood, but Hood, again, Hood is sitting between its 0.5 and 0.618, which looks to be a great dollar cost average zone. My next target on Hood's 300 from like current prices, so that's a good trade too. But there's just so many other assets that I'm looking to pick up because Netflix is kind of ripped off its 0.5. And I wasn't looking to add Netflix to my overall portfolio. I'll probably look to swing trade that one on a pullback. Let's see. When to buy Bitcoin? I'm waiting for 60 to 50K on Bitcoin. That's my next zone. What about the gap fills below? I mean, it's possible. Again, you just got to stick to a strategy. It follows Bitcoin, not smart. Which one were we looking at, Mike, when you said it follows Bitcoin? Were you referring to MSTR, or were you referring to Hood or Coinbase? I wasn't sure what you were referring to. Maybe Coinbase, I think. Maybe Coinbase is what you're referring to. Good afternoon, Nick. Do you know anything about... I think I'll wait for the second part of that. Maybe the typing got cut off. I'll wait for the second part of that. Not... Sorry, Sparsh. I didn't mean to laugh at that. Net 300K is $300 is the next target, and I think you're going to be one happy man when that thing hits $300. MSTR is monster. No, MSTR is MicroStrategy. Sorry, MicroStrategy. Do anything about Pengu? I don't know anything about the fundamentals of Pengu. I know that Pengu has a decent chart when we were looking at it. I think we looked at Pengu the other day. I can't remember who was recommending Pengu. Or was it this chart? Again, it's too early to tell with Pengu. Like, I mean, if you look at the price action on the monthly chart, like, there's just really not a lot to go off of, right? Like, you have these big swings. So it just doesn't really provide you a lot of direction. Even on the monthly, this looks like an ABC corrective. Until we get some impulses off the low, it's kind of hard to tell. Again, Elliott Wave Theory has its strengths. It has its weaknesses. I would say that when you're trading highly volatile, small market cap meme coins, like, there's really no strategy that's going to give you an edge because they're so volatile. Like, they can go up 100%, but then they can drop 100%. So, like, Elliott Wave Theory is geared for more like higher market cap tokens and stocks, things with a lot of price history, a lot of trading volume, less volatile, as opposed to something like a Pengu, which can, go from March of 2025, go up like 500x and then decline in like, this was a matter of like seven months. We went up 5x and then declined about 90%. So it's very hard to time things like that just because they're so volatile. If that makes sense. Did you do ACHR? Sorry if I missed it. No, I don't think we did ACHR yet. Or wait, I think we did ACHR. When did we do this thing? I feel like we did this on stream because I recognize the chart. So with this stock ACHR, like, when you look at the structure, right? Like, you have this 1, the 2, and then you think this is a 3, but then the 4. But then this wave 4, goes below the starting point of wave 1. So this can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5 is next. And like just structurally wise, it's hard to look at this one because there are impulsive movements. Like, if you look at the structure of it on like the daily time frame or the weekly time frame, like, you kind of have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move here, but then with this move up and then this move down, then this move up, prices kind of retrace. So it's more challenging to kind of evaluate this chart, and you kind of dissect it a little bit more. I mean, on this move right here, we definitely have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which we definitely do have that. Back here we kind of have a 1, 2, but this is kind of choppy too. Maybe a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. But it just, the price action is just really choppy. I mean, from a fundamental standpoint, this thing might look really good, but when I'm investing in stuff, I want to make sure that the chart has a clean wave structure, because it's, as a whole, it's already hard enough to invest in things and then predict, bottoms and tops and things like that. But I think for this one, like, it might have some good fundamentals. Maybe this is a wave 1 with a wave 2 and we're in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up. I mean, it's possible, but it's more complex than I would ideally like. And for me, like, I would rather put my money elsewhere. Yeah, we could potentially make, a really good gain on this thing if it goes from $6 to, 20 or whatever it goes next. But it carries more risk because the chart is less clear. So I like to make my investing less risky, if that makes sense. SoFi, I think everything's saved on SoFi from what I can remember. I think my next target on SoFi was $37 for SoFi. Yeah, because we have basically the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and then we're waiting for the 5th leg up. My next target on SoFi was 37. Was my next target for the wave 5. Or yeah, it was like $37 to $40 was my next target on SoFi right here. So this would be the wave 1. The wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3, the wave 4, and then we'll go to 5, and then after the 5 we'll get an ABC pullback. But short term, the next target's 42, and then we'll get an ABC pullback correcting this entire move. So if we go to 42, say for example, then we'll correct to somewhere around 28 to 19. So we'll get like a wave 5 up here to 42, and then we'll get an ABC down somewhere between the 0.382 and the 0.618. That's sort of what's next for SoFi. So the bottom is in for SoFi. I mean, for the wave 4, I mean, it does, as long as price doesn't continue to move down, it does look like the bottom is in for SoFi. But again, like, there's just so many other things with a better risk to reward. Like, because you're playing around with this around the invalidation level of wave 1. Meaning, like, if this is the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3, the wave 4, like, price has already kind of gone below the wave 1, but popped up quickly. So there are rare circumstances where you can have the wave 1 enter the territory of wave 4 enter the territory of wave 1. It's possible, but again, like, if price decides to decline again, then this entire structure is wiped out, and you can't consider this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means you carry the greater risk of, okay, where does this thing go next? So I think with the risk to reward factor of SoFi, I mean, it's a great company. It has really good things going for it from a fundamental standpoint. But as far as like the structure itself, like, you're kind of teeter-tottering on an invalidation level of this wave 1, which would mean this wave 5, basically this whole structure would get invalidated. But as far as like the wave 5 goes, I mean, from $16 to $40 on the next target, what's that, a 3x? I just feel like there's better risk to rewards, like MSTR, Coinbase, Robinhood, even Netflix, like some of these other tokens, some of these other stocks, and even crypto too, like Bitcoin, for example, at 50K to 200, that's a 4x. So it's like, I just feel like there's better risk reward. Again, this is my opinion. Like, you can obviously invest in SoFi and it's a good company, but if this thing does get invalidated, then you're kind of playing with, okay, what happens next? Because if this is an A, B, C structure, say for example, then you might get an A, B, C structure down, or you might get like this being an A wave and then a B wave and then a C wave, then you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it just carries more risk. I'll probably do. I'm getting really tired because I'm a little under the weather today. If you can't tell based on my my nasally congested voice today, so I'll probably do one more chart and then I'll be live tomorrow. I want to get some rest tonight, so I'm not so this cold doesn't prolong for an extended period of time. But let's do one more chart and then again I'll be live probably same time tomorrow. But also March Madness is on tomorrow, so I may be selfish and watch the games. I always thought Elliott Wave strategy was for day traders. So they market it as for day traders, but that's just people marketing their, course or whatever, trying to sell you on teaching you how to do Elliott Wave Theory. But no, Elliott Wave Theory is geared more towards longer investment. If I'm being completely honest, like day trading, like, yeah, there's probably people, the rare occasion, that actually make money day trading. But for me, day trading, like what you see on social media and all that stuff, like all of these people are just emotional gamblers. Like they treat day trading like gambling, and they try to sell you this dream of you're going to get rich quick and you're going to make so much money, and day trading's it, quit your job, do all this stuff. Like that's all just marketing and playing on your emotions to get you to buy their course. That's all they're doing. Like they're just playing on your fear and greed and your love for money. And they're just playing on your emotions to get you to buy their course or get you to buy their mentorship or get you to buy something that they don't do personally. Like most of the day traders that you see on TikTok and YouTube and everything, they're not profitable. They just sell you a dream and then you buy their course and they make money through your courses. So I push back on a lot of the people that sell these day trading stuff, because 95 to 99% of people that actually day trade lose money. And it's the short, like very slim, highly disciplined people that actually make money day trading. All these other people that like treat it like it's a fucking gambling casino, they're losing money. They're just trying to get you in and play on your emotions. So take that with what you will. But no, Elliott Wave Theory is geared for more long-term investing. I think soon we already did. I want to say we did soon. What was that? That's like SoundHound AI, right? Yeah. I think we did soon already. Yeah, I mean, for what I could tell on soon on the smaller time frame, we had this wave 1 with the ABC2 and then the wave 3's next. My next target on soon is like $30 to $40 or $39 to $40. That's my next target on soon. We did this one on stream a while ago. I can't remember when we did it, but we did this one on stream. I can't remember when we did this thing, but we had the wave 1 with the wave 2, and then my next target on it's 39. And then Ethereum, we'll end with Ethereum because I'm getting really tired now after talking this much. But on Ethereum, this is sort of what the structure looks like on a really large time frame. So we've already had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. That's sort of the structure we've had on Ethereum already. So we're currently completed in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move. We had an ABC corrective move. That's already been fulfilled. Now we're kind of in the next sort of, move up for Ethereum. And this whole structure, I'll show you why. This whole structure is, the real impulse starts here. Because we have this ABC corrective here, this ABC A, B wave, and then C wave, and then this next ABC wave. So all of this price action in this box is all corrective. There's no impulses, it's all corrective. This is not an impulsive wave right here. It's not. If you look at it on the smaller time frame, it's just a bunch of 3-wave movements going up. The true impulse starts here, and if you look at it on the smaller time frame, you can see it on the weekly time frame. Well, on the daily time frame, you can see it a little bit better. But on the weekly time frame, you have the wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have the first impulsive wave right here on Ethereum. Then we have this sort of A wave, B wave, and then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down. For me, my next target on Ethereum is 7,300. That's my next target on Ethereum. So this is the wave 1, this is the wave 2. We'll get a wave 3 to about 7,300. We could also extend to the 2 at 8,700. We'll get a wave 4 and then a wave 5. So that's kind of what's next for Ethereum, but the next target is 7,300 based on the structure. What's up, Daniel? You made it, but I'm about to log off. I'm so, you can tell I'm so congested. Same, my wave 1 for XRP starts at 1.33 instead of, yeah, it all about depends on you got to find where the true impulsive starts. Like if you see this on Ethereum, all these movements are like A wave, B wave, C wave, A wave, B wave, C wave, A wave, B wave, C wave, A, B, C, and then another A, B, C, and then another A wave, B wave. So all that price action is just really choppy and corrective and overlapping. The true impulse for me starts here. You can see it a little bit clearer, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we get the A wave, B wave, C wave down. But my next target on Ethereum is 7,300. Do you think Bitcoin will go to 126K by August? No one knows exactly, but just your opinion. So bit like I do think we're gonna get a pretty explosive. We'll end with Bitcoin. We'll end with Bitcoin, and then we'll be on tomorrow. Depending. I mean, I'm happy to go live tomorrow, but I know for a lot of us out there, we do like March Madness. So I don't know how locked in y'all are gonna be on March Madness. I know I will be. I don't know if I'm gonna move from the couch tomorrow, starting at 12 p.m. I'm just gonna be locked into like March Madness is my favorite holiday. I love this shit. I love college basketball. So I will be watching all of the games tomorrow. I probably will still post videos for sure. But I don't know how committed I'll be on TikTok live, if I'm being honest, because March Madness is my shit. But I'm happy to go live for a little bit if that is of interest. If there's any like major moves in Bitcoin, we'll go live. But so it's hard to tell. No, ETH is going to 1,000, and from 1,000 it's going to 5 to 6,000. Well, why is that? Like, what's your strategy behind Ethereum going to 1,000 and then from 1,000 to 5,000? Like, how did you get those numbers? Is that on Andre, I think? Like, how did you get those numbers? You just, like, if that's your opinion, I'm going to disagree with that, because you're just throwing out numbers. You got to have a strategy and some reason why. So for Bitcoin, for example, like, once we complete this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, that's terrible. Hold on. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move down for the wave 5. Once that happens, for me, that's the bottom of this larger expanding flat. And 126, I mean, that we could rip off the lows. I mean, look at what Netflix is doing off of the lows, right? Like, Netflix off of the 0.5 fib is having a huge pump, a big rip off the lows. I mean, if we get something like this, like a big rip up towards like, maybe 100, and then a pullback too, and then another big rip. I just don't like to put I don't like to put time constraints on investments, because it can stress you out. By August, I mean, it depends. It depends on how quickly we recover from the bottom, but it's possible. I think, this bottom still has to happen, though. So that could happen until, end of April. Maybe we get this correction into the end of March, maybe the end of April. Like, how many days would that be from here to the end of March? I mean, that'd be 13 bars. That would kind of fulfill, because if you look at all these other impulses, on Bitcoin, like the impulsive one, right? From here to impulsive 1, it took 10 days. And then for the impulsive wave 3, this took this one was a little bit longer, but it took like 25 days. Then for this impulse here, it took 8 days. And then for this impulse here, for the 3, I mean, this one was done in 11. So if using that as an example, whenever this thing ends, say the thing is starting, right, and we do 15 bars, that would put us at the end of March. And then at the end of March, if we start ripping up, we could be at 126 by August. It's possible, but it's more of a hypothetical than anything. What time? These are daily candles right now. Cycle is repeat, same like 2021 to 2022. I would disagree with that, because the cycles never give you the same price action twice. Bitcoin, my next zone is 60 to 50K. I'm about to end the live in a second. Yeah. When do you think it will go up? However long it takes for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drop to happen. So until then, we're still in corrective mode. Problem is, everyone is expecting lower. Yes, everyone's expecting lower, but I also say no, because everyone's expecting this. Everyone's expecting this big dump to 30K, where I'm different. I'm just expecting a short-term run to 60 to 50 and then a move up. Structurally, that's what's next. So while people may be getting, very arrogant and cocky about what's next, for me, it's just one more short-term correction, and then we pump to 200K. Where I think a lot of people are expecting this downside, a little bit of a pump, and then a dump. That, for me, is what I see everywhere. It's like, Bitcoin's going to go down, then it's going to make a false rally, and then we're going to dump to 10K, whatever it is. That, for me, is... I don't trust that at all. I go based on my analysis, and for me, structurally, we have one more dump lower and then 200K. So with that being said, I am going to go try to get some rest. I might take some NyQuil tonight just so I can get better by tomorrow. Because I can't breathe through my nose. Like, it's so congested. We had, with the construction in the house and all this dust and then the pollen starting in Georgia, like, my nose is congested as can be. So I'm probably going to end the live there just because I'm getting tired. But I appreciate y'all's support. We'll see what price action does over the next week. When you say pump to 200K, when is that? Q1 2027? So again, like, I don't trade get to feeling betterment. Yeah, I hate being sick. So tomorrow will be a rest day, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll be good. Thank you. Thank you. You make this info very simple to understand. That's my goal. That is my goal, because I feel like everyone tries to be like this super guru on like YouTube and TikTok and tries to confuse everyone. Like, it doesn't have to be that complex. Like, stop using these big ass words. Just make it simple. Make it easy. You know, investing is already hard enough as it is. Might as well make it as simple as possible. So that's my goal. Get well soon. Thanks, Robin. I appreciate that. But yeah, however long it takes to get to 200K, it could happen in 2026. It could happen in 2027. It could happen in 2028. But the risk, the next stage after we hit 60 to 50K, that will complete the structure, and then, you know, 200K is next. That could happen in 6 months. That could happen in a year. It could happen in 18 months. I try not to put timetables on it, because then you're going to stress about, oh, Bitcoin's not hitting 200K by my year timetable. So it makes it hard, but 200K is the next trade. I picked Arizona in my bracket. Does Elliott Wave Theory pick the winner? I wish, man. I wish. That'd be awesome. I like simple explanations. Yeah, you don't have to you don't have to make everything complex. Just keep it simple. Of course, just curious. Yeah, I mean, if we start ripping off of these lows, I mean, we could get a really quick V-shaped recovery. I do think it probably will take time, though. I don't think this will happen in a 6-month time period. I do think it'll probably take at least a year for the price action to develop like that to get to 200K. But even still, like, I'll wait a year to make a 4x on my money. Like, that's a great investment. So if it happens sooner, great. If it happens, you know, a little bit longer, I'll take a 4x all day long. That's just multiplying my net worth by 4x and then take the profits out of that, find another undervalued ad. That's the goal. It's compounding it. It's investing in Bitcoin now when it's undervalued. When it hits its, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up, take your profits and then rotate it into another asset that has completed an ABC structure. Hit a 2 to 3x, and then you're compounding your gains. You're taking your 10,000, multiplying it by 4, and then being patient, waiting for another opportunity, and then, you know, buying another thing. So I have Arizona pretty far too. I have Arizona, I want to say, to the Final Four. If you ever come to Kentucky and don't hit me up, I'll never forgive you. Absolutely, yeah. I don't come to Kentucky often, but I got my wife's family's from Kentucky, so I will definitely, next time I'm in Kentucky, I'll hit you up for sure. With that being said, though, I'm going to end the live. I hear my dog barking downstairs, so I think she's got to go out. So I appreciate the support. I will see all y'all tomorrow. I hope that our brackets don't get busted in like the first day of the tournament, but we'll see. Obviously, there's always those bracket busters that come out in the first game. I think Louisville area, and then I got some family friends here in Georgia that have family in Kentucky as well, but I don't remember what part. But anyways, hopefully your guys' brackets don't get busted tomorrow. But I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night, and I appreciate the support again.